I never know what. Yeah, hi folks. I never know what to say in the beginning. I don't have a fancy catchphrase or anything. Keep talking. Your audio is not going through. Mine is.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Now you guys can hear me. Okay, that was weird. That was weird. Well, a little bit rusty it seems like. We're a little bit rusty, but that's okay. That's okay. These things happen. These things happen. Um, but yeah, so welcome. Been on hiatus. Now we're back. We're gonna jump right into it. So there's a couple things we want to discuss and chat about. But first, we're gonna talk about a little bit about Thor. I know it's been a while, but I really want to talk about this new movie that's coming out. The trailer was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it immensely. I think from a person who doesn't know too much from the comic books themselves, I think it's going to be a fun and wild ride. It's going to be a little bit silly and zany, like Taika Waititi. He's notorious for those type of movies and things like that, and that kind of adventure. So I think he has something special. Thor Ragnarok was something amazing, and is definitely my favorite Thor movie and my favorite Marvel movie. So I'm thinking that this one might be it might take that mantle. I like the visuals; they look fantastic. The story seems very charming, and yet the villain. What little I know about the villain, he looks. I what I know of him, he's menacing, right, and he's very vile. But as far as like his appearance, he he looks kind of weird. He looks kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. It's I don't know. Christian Bale does it. Taika Waititi is like, oh, he's the best villain. Like that the MCU have seen and stuff like that. It's gonna be fantastic, and I have no doubt that his performance is gonna be great. But it's just his appearance. It just I felt a little bit let down. But other than that, I really like the visuals of it. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Uh, Primo, what are your thoughts, concerns, queries about
No,
the
I think you forgot to mention that you really like Chris Hemsworth without any shirt on. So
the
that's
full the you flick too hard.
but yeah, the trailer looks fun. I really enjoy everything there. Thor's, Chris Hemsworth is gonna be amazing as always, like
Yeah.
in the part, and the visuals are outstanding, as you say about the villain. I really like the look. I understand why they did it because Gore in the comic books, he's an alien with tentacles in his head,
Mm-hmm.
and I think they didn't want to put too much CG on the face on Christian Bale's face because then it's like, his acting can go. You can't use your full expression when you're under so much makeup.
Yeah.
But this one, he looks like a monk, but I really enjoy that look because he's almost he hates gods, and he has this mission or this pilgrimage of killing all the gods. He has that look, and there's some scenes in there that he changes almost his appearance. There's one scene where he's entering a room and he just looks like a skull, almost like Skeletor. So
Mm.
his so yeah, I really enjoy his hands are all black, like really like the comic book character, and he has those elements there. I don't think he in the sword, is very important. And I think it's the sword that's causing all those black and white scenes. It's almost draining life from reality, almost.
Oh,
So
nice. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I think he's gonna nail it. I know a lot of people don't like the design because he doesn't look like the comic book character,
Mm-hmm.
but on this one, I prefer this look, live action. I
Yeah.
think people can relate more to him because he looks more human than the comic book version. So
Yeah. That makes sense because had he looked more alien, I don't think there would have been any sympathy for his cause. And I'm sure
yeah,
that the writing is going to showcase some backstory to give us some
yeah,
sympathy and be relatable to that character. So I think that that's a really good point that you bring up. But that's not to say that maybe there could be a transformation down the
yeah,
line and the character transforms his face and shows his true identity, or the sword does something that just alters his appearance at some point, so it's it's still up in the air.
yeah.
But I can imagine how comic book fans were just completely I, not I wouldn't say like disappointed, but just kind of, I don't know, maybe deterred a little bit by just not
The
seeing
thing
the
is that
full one-on-one
yeah,
representation.
the thing is that you can have the comic book look
Mm-hmm.
like like Apocalypse in the X-Men movie,
Yeah.
and just the acting is so horrible because of the makeup, or you can have the essence of the character in an actor and just nail it. And I prefer that than the look of the character, you know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I
But
I don't doubt.
Thanos doesn't look like the version of the yes, similar, but the comic book version of Thanos is more alien than the version we had on the movie. But he
Yeah.
had that almost human expression to him. Like you could see a lot of the actor coming through the CG.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true. I think when it comes to like CG and motion capturing and stuff like that, I think they crushed it when it with Thanos. I think they showed that there's a lot of latitude there that you can manipulate and get a lot of organic facial expressions and things like that coming from the character. Um, but also one point that I like to bring up is when they did Pirates of the Caribbean, Long John, when um he was doing the like the tentacles and stuff like that, or is it not Long John? Is Davy Jones? Davy Jones. Long John Silver is the chain restaurant. Uh, when they did Davy Jones and he had the octopus and the tentacles, like you could still see the actor's mannerisms and expressions in there, and it really shined and popped, and maybe it was just so well done to just match what the tentacles did and just like the personality of Davy Jones. But I think had they covered him up and stuff like that, I think Christian Bale's performance would have still come through. I don't think it would have gotten lost. But I do agree that having him look more human, makes him more relatable, and I can understand that. So, but yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun film. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's coming out in July, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, and
around the corner.
and it's like the Doctor Strange movie when it came out. It was fun. It was a fun film. Like I didn't. It wasn't like, oh, like I had other expectations for it. I thought there was just gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like the Civil War of the Doctor Strange, like another MCU kind of moment. Because in the Civil War, it was basically another Avengers movie, but they tied it in, or they put it under the banner of Captain America. So I figured that Doctor Strange was going to be something similar, where it has that same energy and they're revealing a lot of stuff, which they kind of technically did, but um, I just saw it for what it was. It was just fun and entertaining. I think this one's going to be the same thing. Um, hey Naomi, how's it going? Hey Elena, hi. How's it going? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? You arrived for the tail end of the Thor trailer conversation. Um, um, What's up, Megan? Hey, bro, I didn't know you were streaming today. Yeah, we've been on hiatus with the podcast and stuff like that. It's been up and down with the podcast. Like we were gonna do this last Monday, and unfortunately, um, electrical storm and everything like that, and we just couldn't do it. So now after 3 weeks of not doing it, now we're back. It's been 3 weeks. It's been 3 weeks. So now we're back. We're here, golden. Um, Primo, which one do you want to transition into? Do you want to go into
Go ahead and talk to Halo about it. You had that bottle up for almost 3 weeks now.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's get Halo out of the way.
I wouldn't know if Elena finished this. Was she watching the
Yes.
Halo show?
Has anybody seen the Halo show or finished it? Uh by any chance before I dive into it? Cuz I'm not going to it's been a couple weeks since it's over, so Naomi
Calm
say
down.
hi, Naomi. Naomi say hi to you, Javi.
Oh, she stopped watching. Elena stopped
Oh,
watching.
she stopped watching it? Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, fair enough.
You were wise, Elena.
Yeah.
Boom didn't do that.
Yeah. It's what can I say? So
You crazy waiting for the season 2 now?
no, not at all, man. I don't think this show didn't do any justice to anybody. It was just a complete. I feel like it was a complete fan fiction. It had no ties to anything pertinent of the
Let
series.
me interrupt you. There's an
Okay.
important question I have.
Yeah.
What did you thought about the sex scene with Master Chief and the threesome that
Cortana being the voyeur.
yeah.
Listen, I'm okay with my boy getting some, okay? Like I don't know why people were so upset about that. Like it just made sense that it was gonna happen. Like it was building up to it. I figured it was just gonna be him and um the other soldier and stuff like that. I figured it was just gonna be them two, but I'm happy that he finally got to experience that. It didn't bother me. But yeah, in the video game and then like I've only
I
read
never
one of the
seen I never seen so many people angry about sex.
yeah. It's very true. Like all through Twitter, it's like he is asexual. He loves Cortana. It's like, oh my god, y'all. The man just
Now Naomi's asking what episode was it? Was it 9 or
yeah, I think it was seven or I think it was yeah, episode 7 where he got it on.
Elena's like, yo,
I don't know why would they even? I just nope. Glad I stopped watching.
now Naomi is like, what episode? I want to watch this.
Yeah, it's like it's episode 7. But it was tasteless. The way that they did it, the build up to it and stuff like that. You can kind of read the room. Out of all the episodes, that was probably like the best established one. On what direction they're going and how things developed. But to get to that point was just kind of like they're trying to build trust amongst each other and stuff like that. Megan, he's like, Cortana's thick. Cortana's thick on Halo 4. Epa.
Nelson.
Hey, what's up, Nelson? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Appreciate the support.
Naomi is like, I'm such a dog. I need to watch it.
It's not a terrible scene. I mean, it's okay, but I don't mind him getting some, right? Like Master Chief has been through a lot. My boy needs to get something. I'm glad he got a prize throughout this whole entire thing. That's the only good thing that's happened to him in this whole entire series because they massacred him. They massacred him as a character. So when I first started talking about Halo, a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, it's based off of the books, based off of the books," and I wanted to do justice by the show, like I didn't want to just be like a voice of ranting, just like hate, because the show is completely terribly established. There's nothing cohesive about it. It's all over the place. Each episode just keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And so I wanted to do my due diligence. So I got an audiobook. and I listened to it, and I'm on the last 45 minutes of the audiobook right now. And let me tell you what, like, the story that I'm listening to is so spectacular. The visuals and the story structure and the tension between, three different factions. You got the Master Chief, who's trying to, like, save mankind. You have the rebel humans who are trying to just be free, and then you have the Covenant, who's just trying to kill both of them, right? And so the rebels make an alliance with the Covenant to try to get rid of the UNSC. So it's this, just like this tension amongst all of them, and then there's like betrayal even inside the UNSC, and it's just like, it's so well written, so well established, and you get a feel for the character, especially when this book that I'm reading is the story on how Master Chief became Master Chief, and I'm like, this has to be the closest thing to what the show is, and it's like night and day. The book is astonishing. Like, it's the first Halo book I experienced, and I loved every second of it. It was just so great to see Master Chief, and he's a young Master Chief. He's 15. He's coming into his element. He's worried about his comrades. They're joking around. They're making sarcastic remarks amongst each other, and it's all like family oriented. Cut to the show where there's none of that. There's more robotic, just expressions, less manner, and they're supposed to be older, so that banter and that camaraderie should be stronger. They make some characters like, Dr. Halsey. They make her like a supervillain, and in the book, she has her own agenda, but her agenda is like for mankind and for the Spartans, and she's not vile, she's not vicious, she's just a strong, independent woman who's trying to, like, achieve goals, and she knows how to acquire those goals. She's not like a mad scientist like they made her out to be. Um, and so and there's no, like, hidden agenda, like we kidnap these kids or anything like that. He was a bully. They even say Master Chief was a bully, and if it wasn't for Miranda, um, or I mean, Dr. Halsey, to take him away from that, he would have been a bully. He was a schoolyard bully. So Naomi's like, it's episode 8. uh, Good for Chief, but it's nothing to do with anything. Yeah,
Naomi already found it.
yeah, she found it. She found it.
Wow.
She hunted it down. She got it.
Yeah, you got it.
So I don't think they did justice to the character whatsoever. People have been anticipating this show for years, seeing something of Master Chief or of Halo in the big screen or on the screen in general for many years, and they botched it. Master Chief was just a hollow shell. The actor's performance was mediocre at best. I think that the screenwriting was just as bad as his performance, if not, so they both went in tandem. You can't really tell where the bad writing ends and his, bad acting begins, or vice versa. I, I think my favorite thing about the show was the CG of the Covenant. Whenever the Covenant was on screen, they stole the show for me. Their presence and their design and the character designs, absolutely astonishing. Just 100% on the mark, on the money. Just everything about it was great. Some of the characters, their perspective was just, they were disproportioned. Like the tiny little foot soldiers. Master Chief is taller and bigger than them. They're not the same size, and yet the proportions were just completely out of whack. Like off sync, and so the CG on Master Chief and everything like that was just poor. It was really bad, and you see that they didn't pour enough money into the show itself, and they left it for like these big climactic experiences. At the end of certain episodes where there's a lot of fights, and
It still does that.
no, I get that, but there's other elements, like there's scenes in there that just don't need to exist, where they could have saved so much money in the budget to allocate it somewhere else. So it was just really, really poor writing, poor direction, not understanding the original material, not understanding fans, and not catering to them. And I get it, fans could be toxic, but in this case, the fans have every right to be upset because they didn't meet the mark. And if they're still claiming that they read the books, uh, to do the show, they only read the synopsis. They only read the back of the book, and that's it. That's all of the book that they read because there's no representation of the book in this show. I mean, I stand on that hill. Like there's they'll say like the rebels and all that stuff. Yeah, granted, that's on the book, but it's not like the relationship and what they're trying to do is not there. This female character, she's not there. Like I don't. It was just a bad show. It was poorly directed, poorly written, and the fact that it's getting a second season, I can't see them going anywhere else with. I don't know. It's just a big waste of time. I don't recommend it to anybody. I give
Did
this show like a
did
2.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Did it reach the Halo facility or
No, so spoiler. They so the whole story is about these two human individuals that are the key to get to Halo. Um, and so that's why they brought that girl or that woman. That's why the Covenant went after her to find her and stuff like that. And coincidentally, Master Chief is the only other human in existence that can tap into that key and access the coordinates to where the Halo's at, and they can teleport there. Their consciousness can teleport there. Um, and so that's what the whole story was about. It's just finding this key and trying to connect it. But in the way that they went about it was just so bad. They could have made it where the girl herself, she is the key, and everybody's after her, including Master Chief. And that's how we can learn about Master Chief's humanity, because how he approaches this passion to go seek this girl out and find her and save her and rescue her because the Covenant's after her. So maybe the first location that they're there, the girl is there, and he rescues her, and yet the Covenant keeps every time where this girl's at, the Covenant just seems to show up, and so Master Chief starts coming up with this like connecting the dots. And he's like, maybe this girl is important, and all of a sudden they kidnap her and they take her, and now he's like, okay, she is important, goes after her, like tell a cohesive story where it's just fixated on one point, and she is the key to everything. Master Chief doesn't need to be the key to anything. He's just Master Chief. He's executing the task and the mission at hand. So it's just a wasted opportunity to tell like a really compelling story, which they didn't do. And then at the end of the season finale, he told Cortana to take over his body just so he could become the Master Chief that we play in the video game or something like that. Master Chief is a Spartan, so he's skilled, and the reason why he's able to do all these amazing things is because he trained to do them, and he's enhanced, and his armor allows him to do a lot of these things, and he pushes himself through those limits. It's his mentality, it's his psyche. Like, I don't want anybody to get hurt, so that's why I put myself out there in danger. It's almost like a Superman's mentality, where it's like, I could take the hits, so no one has to. That's his approach. So here, what they decided to do is like, Cortana, take over my body, and she does, all these amazing things, and it's not Master Chief, it's not John, it's Cortana, and it's like, what are they doing? What is And the relationship between Master Chief and Cortana is very special because they develop it and they get closer and closer, almost to like a relationship, like a real like relationship. And you feel that throughout the video games. And in this last one, Infinite, you get a sense that, it's emotional because it was Cortana who chose Master Chief. According to the games, she chose him because she saw something special in him, and declaring that she was sentient for a long time. Like she was able to see something in him. So to lose all that just so Master Chief can get some, it was crazy. Naomi says 18 minutes 17 seconds in, it's about to go down.
You know,
Naomi, Naomi, bless you, child. That's fantastic. uh but yeah, I just think that the show, there was so much opportunities there. There's so many good books that you could have adapted and altered just a couple things here and there, but just to say that you're going based off of the books is just a farce. You guys just didn't have no idea what you were doing. You had your own personal agenda and you failed miserably. The second season, they have a lot of work to do. The new showrunners have a lot of work to do, a lot of ground to cover. If they really want the show to succeed, they need to just wipe the slate clean. Start from scratch. Uh, make it do something where because Cortana took over his body, he
But
lost.
wait,
What's up?
Naomi, that's a kids it's
Yeah,
a PG show.
it's
It's
yeah, and that's another thing. They filmed it like it was gonna be on like CBS or something. It's
yeah.
yeah, it's completely. They don't go to the limit. They just kind of show his scars, show a little bit of her scars from the back and stuff like that, and and that's about it. And then they wake up the next day and she's laying in bed, and that's all it
We
is.
thought something else.
Yeah, it was.
Not Bridgerton.
It's not Bridgerton. It's not Bridgerton. Which I watched the first episode. I, I have to say it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie. I
fell in
was
the trap. Fell in the trap.
yeah, I did. I totally did. I was just like, hmm, I might have to continue watching this. It was surprisingly good. I actually enjoyed it. Like
Naomi, what you did to my cousin now?
for shame, I got excited. Naomi, oh my god. Say it one more time. What did I liked it? Did I like Bridgerton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it.
He's gonna turn the podcast now into the Bridgerton fan club.
Man, don't tempt me because I wanted to do something like that for Downton Abbey. After I watched Downton Abbey, oh my god, I love Downton Abbey.
Yeah, you'll be alone with that. Maybe
That
you and Naomi can do a
oh yeah, we could
Bridgerton.
do like a Bridgerton, like recap and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Talk about each episode. I like how it's established. I like the creativity of the world. Like it's. I have no idea where it's at. Um, I think it's England or or what do you call it? Or I don't know. It's England or New York or wherever. But I like the creativity of it. Whatever. What's up, yo? What's up? How's it going? How you feeling? It's hot, 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 like hot. The first episode was it was a bit caliente, but I prefer the storyline. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, you fast forward through the booby scenes.
I didn't see any. I didn't see any boobies in there. Were like the first episode. Did it have any? So, um, yeah, I didn't notice any of that. I mean, granted, I was doing other stuff. The Naomi's like the whole show is spicy. I'll take your word for it. I'm gonna continue watching it. I'm gonna continue watching it. It's 2 seasons in. I'm looking forward to it because there's a lot of content there, just a straight up binge. So,
I cannot believe you just
well, I actually liked it. Like I'm straight up, like I'm honest. Like I like how it all developed. And there's like even a Cinderella story in there in the middle. Like one of the
oh
cousins
my god.
comes in to visit. Not to visit,
Right.
but like she's staying with her uncle's family, and there's like a secret that's in there, and everybody's attracted to her because she's exotic and whatnot. I'm like, okay, yeah. And then like the I don't know, her aunt traps her in the room so her daughters can have a chance to, get courted and whatnot. And it's almost like a Cinderella. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I like how that developed really organically, the buildup of it. It wasn't just like, oh, you're the foreigner, you're trapped in the room, and my daughters are gonna get all the attention. No, it was a slow burn to that moment, and so I appreciated it. So, uh, she's like, yes, dude, definitely. Javi, you need to get into it. It's really good. Yeah, Javi, get
Not
into
into
it.
work stories and stuff like that. More a grouchy guy.
Oh, hey, Lazy, you walking your dog. That's awesome. What type of dog do you have? What's the doggy's name? When Elena first had me watch it, I was like, whoa, yep, this is it. 12 hours later, baby, we need to go to
Now
bed.
next week I'm gonna be I watched the first episode of Bridgerton.
How he's gonna be talking all sophisticated and distinguished
Yeah.
with his
I have
pinky
an
up.
English accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oi, governor. That's all I can say in an English accent. I don't think it's English accent.
I don't know what that was, but it's It sounded like you were falling or something. Like, oh wait.
Oi! Oi, governor.
Maybe you could do it in Spanish. Maybe you could do like a British Spanish accent.
Don't make me translate.
Yeah. But yeah, so to wrap up on Halo, it's not a good show. It was not a good story. It's not well developed. It's poor writing, poor performance on the actors. I feel like there was not enough backing for this show, and they got a lot of work to do for the second season. So that's my final take. And it's a bit somber, because we already knew where this was going. It was already a huge letdown by the first episode. You just kind of knew. The second episode just kind of confirmed everything, and it was just a tragic stumble all the way to the. It wasn't even a stumble. Like they fell flat and they were dragged from the first episode all the way down, and their face is completely bloody. That's a.
Okay, let's change it though, because you keep comparing this show to other things. This is like the fourth comparison. You compared it to something else.
Yeah,
Like
it's
we need
bad.
to change.
It's a bad
Yeah.
show. So let's transition into a good show. Primo, let us talk about a Netflix show that is not Bridgerton, which is pretty exciting to watch. First episode was good. We'll see the rest of the season, but it is Ozark. But before we do, let's see what Lazy has to say. His name is Oreo. And
Oreo.
yeah, Oreo, and he is a Shih Tzu mixed with a bulldog. Oh, nice.
Shih Tzu, or you said Shih Tzu.
Isn't it? Is it Shih Tzu? Shih
What?
Tzu? Yeah,
I,
Shih
I
Tzu.
don't know. Yeah.
I'm not trying to say
With a
like
bulldog.
Lazy. You on Discord? If so, I'd love to see Oreo. Yeah, yeah. Send us a picture on the Discord. Click the link on the description down below and join the community. Become a Dino Boomy. Yay! But yeah, we would love to see the doggy. Love to see the doggy. Um, Primo, why don't you take us on the journey that is Ozark? Your thoughts?
Well, this is the last season of Ozark, and I feel conflicted because I didn't like the ending,
Oh.
but it's more me than the show. It's because I enjoy the journey of it,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not gonna knock it down or anything like that. I mean, all the performance were great. I mean, the all steal the show. I mean, it's a great show, but just the ending of what happened at the end, it broke my heart because I was wishing for her to make it out of it, and
Mm.
so I enjoy that character so much. But
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's still a great series. I will watch it again, and you know, but I really like this family. The bird family is like this invasive creature that fell into the Ozark and just killed a bunch of people. It made a living hell in there.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend this show to. It's not Bridgerton, like but what is
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't know if what did you think about the show?
Um, well, first off, I think Ozark was a special show. I think it was like one of those. And I don't want to say one hit wonders, but it was just like one of those impactful shows that just hit, and it came out of
Yeah,
nowhere. When you watch the first episode, you're like, oh, this is intriguing. But then when you binge watch the first season, you're like, oh, this is something magical. This is really special. This is, and you're so careful when you have that experience because the second season will really determine the the longevity of the show, the direction of the show, and how good it's going to be. How good is this journey going to be? And they did not disappoint. Season after season, it was just things just got better. Characters evolved and they developed. They
yeah,
gave center stage to different characters in each season, and it seemed to think things seemed to shift. In season two for certain characters. and in between the season, like there was the first half of the season, and like the highlight was this character, and then the second half of the season was the highlight was this character. So they had that energy, and it just kept flowing, and it kept getting better and better, and they kept putting these characters in organic, difficult situations. And when they introduced characters to just kind of flip everything on their heads, they did it so eloquently, like, and it was just so good writing. The staff really took their time and care with this show, and they really put thought behind their words and the execution, because you saw these characters evolve, and they by the end of the show, they were just completely broken, and they rose up and they became someone else. And that is so important. That is key when you're telling a story. You got to see a change. You got to see a change in the character, but also, like, you got to feel that change. You got to be able to see that they evolved, and not so much learn something, because nobody learned anything in that show. If anything, they just wouldn't learn from their mistakes. They just kept doubling down and doubling down and doubling down. Like they were playing life, but in real life, with like their their own lifeblood was like the chips, right? So it was a masterful show, masterful, and I enjoyed every second of it. I'm with Javi a little bit. Like, the ending kind of broke my heart, seeing this beloved character, and you see her struggle. You've gone through this journey with her. You've fallen in love with her, and then just to see what happens to her at the end, it sucks, but it's so well established, and you understand why it
Oh,
happened. And
yeah, this whole season they were hinting at her because she starts seeing ghosts
yeah,
and imagining her family there.
yeah,
So they were hitting it from the beginning of the series. I'll say something.
mm.
They did me bad because they killed me off in the first.
Uh,
There's a character in the show called with my name,
yeah.
and he got blasted fast.
Man, but that he was a good character though. It was, and
And
that's
his mom was creepy too. Though
oh
that I
yeah,
was scared of her.
yeah, 100%, 100%. She was just like, she was like the devil that you knew, like the devil that shooks your hand, and she would hug you and comfort you, but it's like, I'll eventually kill you.
Marty was constantly saying that to his wife, like, "Don't give her power, don't give her power." And she was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, she kept pushing that. Oh shoot, my phone is powering off. Hey, no worries. Lazy, thank you for being here for a little bit and hanging out with us. Charge that phone. But yeah, it was such a great journey, great adventure, great story. The ending, it's sad, but I like how it all ended. The family became unified finally. And that's something that the mother was actually fighting for the whole entire show, was just the unification of her family, and they finally became a unified family under this weird common cause. And it's probably not the way that the parents wanted things to end, especially with the kids, but it's closure, like it's a well-rounded unification of these characters, and they completely changed. And man, I applaud Netflix. They knocked it out of the park with this one. And it's not long. It's not a long series. It's really short, but each season was just like thick with story and development and character arcs, that it just, man, it just left you wanting more. And so I think, for me, the shows gets like a solid, like, 9 out of 10. I can't give it a 10 out of 10, because I'm sure that
"Go
there's something.
for 9 too." Like,
Yeah,
even though I didn't like the ending, but the part of that character,
yeah,
but they closed the door, but they left the door open too, like
mm-hmm,
they can continue in Chicago instead of Ozarks.
yeah,
So yeah, I hope they do a spinoff or something with one of the characters or something.
yeah.
They created a great world.
And that's what I thought they were gonna do. With the young girl that she died at the end. Spoiler. Um, I thought that they were gonna do it in a way where she gets her own show. and she gets hit, but it's not like deadly. But yeah, I would if they did a spinoff, I wouldn't know, where they would go with it and stuff. Maybe the kids, maybe I don't know, some character, maybe the girl from Miami, maybe a spinoff from her, that the girl that went back to Miami. Um, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, the show was fantastic. I highly recommend it. If you guys want a new show to watch and you haven't watched Ozark, check it out. It is el mucho delicioso. So that's our thoughts on that.
So let's go into the main piece.
The main event. Um, so Star Wars just came out with a brand new show. Disney Star Wars just came out with a brand new show, Obi-Wan Kenobi, that premiered Friday of last week, and um, there's a lot of hype.
Friday?
Yeah, it was Friday. It was Friday, so because Maverick came out Friday on the 27th. Stranger Things came out on the 27th, and then it was also Obi-Wan that came out on the 27th. So a lot of big things. Also, congratulations to Tom Cruise. He had the largest opening of his career, with a hundred plus $1 million opening for Top Gun Maverick.
I think
So
123.
yeah, that's the largest opening he's ever had in his whole career.
Is it
So
crazy that he's been so long and
yeah,
being an actor, and this is the first time? This is the eyes.
yeah.
Like,
It's
uh,
just the hype behind the show, not the show, but the movie. It's such an iconic character, and the movie is so great. Paramount Plus has the original one in 4K HDR, so that was a great experience. Um, but I think it's just the cinematic approach to this movie. Everybody's in that jet, everybody's in the cockpit, everybody's flying. So technically, like somebody else is flying it, but they're in that cockpit. So if the jet's doing 5Gs, they're in there taking 5Gs, and those cameras are capturing that. And it's like, and the thing is, Ari's been developing these mini cameras that are capable of shooting like 4.7K, 5.K, and all that stuff, 5.6K. Um, and so they're able to capture all this stuff, and they had like two up here, two, four, five, like 5 or 6 cameras just pointing at them, but they're so small and they're such high quality cameras that they were able to capture all this stuff. And the resolution is like IMAX resolution. Digitally you can push 8K footage, 12K footage, and so you don't need that 65 to 75 millimeter roll to film things. Unlike James Cameron, who just not James Cameron, but Christopher Nolan, who's just like, give me the huge film. These cameras can shoot pretty much IMAX quality. So it's just a cinematic marvel what they were able to do with Top Gun Maverick. So I think that's part of the success of it. And everybody who's seen it has said nothing but great things of the movie. It's so I'm eager to see it. I'd love to see it in IMAX. Yo, Rusty Bucket, what's up, man? It's been a minute. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hanging out. We're about to talk about Obi-Wan Kenobi, the first 2 episodes that came out this past Friday. So, if you haven't seen it, we, we're not going to spoil much, but we're going to talk about it in depth, just to let you know. But thank you for being here, though. Much love, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Um, so, Disney's been tapping into this how'd you put it, Primo? This cow. They've been
milking cow.
yeah, they've been milking this cow called Star Wars, and they've been coming out with a lot of content that just hasn't been hitting the mark. And so Obi-Wan Kenobi was supposed to be that shining light, and I don't think that they I don't think they got it with this one. But let's not start with the negative parts of it. Let's talk about all the positive parts. And Prima, I'm gonna let you take it off real quick,
Yeah.
and let's talk about all
I
the things
think
that we liked about the show.
I think the best part of the show is Ewan McGregor's acting and performance. It's just ace, he does an incredible job with the character and Obi-Wan. And he has this nuance way of acting as Obi-Wan. He picked up a lot of mannerism from the original actor, McGinnis, I think was his last name. So he does this beard thing and twirl and stuff. So he's just an incredible actor doing this part. And you visually see the brokenness in him and his daily routine in the show, and
Mm.
even in the ending when he just learns some incredible news and he just has this like does this like almost panic attack look to him, and the acting was incredible. And I think the look in general of the show was really good. I mean, especially in the second episode, once they leave the Tatooine, I think the art design on the show, it just looked like a scene from Mass Effect. I was watching and I was like, man, this could be Mass Effect right
Yeah.
here, and and Shepard could be just running around. Um, I think the costuming and stuff like that is really really good too. They showed a lot of love in the look in the show and stuff.
Hmm.
I think I think where they think missed the beat was a little bit in the story here and there. But I think I enjoyed the first episode more than the second one, just in terms of seeing Obi-Wan catching up to him, his daily routine. He's working and stealing meat from this place.
Yeah.
They could. And but yeah, I think I really enjoyed it, and I think it's one of the better shows from the Star Wars from Disney Plus. I really didn't enjoy Mandalorian or the book of Boba Fett, and but yeah, uh, yeah, that's for me the good things there.
Yeah. Catching up with Rusty. He says was watching Elden Ring stream until I found 12 or 14-year-old. Not a pedo. Pedo so jetted. Okay. Good kids though. That's what's up. I understand getting into art and character more now than ever. I work for the government, but they are headed in wrong direction. But I do what I can to be good stewards of a taxpayer and money. That's cool. That's what's up, man. That's awesome. So I have to say, pretty much, I'm with you with all the positive notes. I think the Ben Kenobi was done really well. Ewan McGregor is such a brilliant actor. Like he's talented. He brings that character to life. Nobody else can play Obi-Wan like he does. And those emotional moments, like in the first episode, the monotonous of his new life and what he's going through and how he's struggling, executes that effortlessly. He makes it look so easy, but you see the pain and the struggle of the character, and I love his performance. I'm with you. The visuals were good on episode 2. Like the visuals of that city was fun to see outside of like the desert. Um, I think the small elements where he was like in his cave and things like that. I really enjoy those elements, like the texture that they're bringing. Uh, those small little details I appreciate. Um, what else did I like about the show? I did like seeing, despite what people heard on the podcast last night at Chronicas, I did enjoy seeing like Leia and where she's at, as a kid in that world and that environment. I really appreciate seeing that because I understand, there's more to the story. I enjoyed seeing those elements and things like that, but uh, yeah, I think the visuals for the most part, they're all the visuals in the CG wasn't all great. It was kind of meh, but I think his costume was great. I think yeah, that's probably like my favorite thing about the show. It's Ian McGregor's. I think everybody else visually just didn't captivate me that much. So um yeah, I think Nelson's like I hated Leia. Yeah, I don't think. And with that note, I don't think uh, okay, Rusty says I'm not your normal viewer or reader. I do not mind seeing main characters. Whoa, what happened there? Whoa, what happened there? That was weird. I don't know why all your messages just got deleted. Please refrain from using foul language. Yeah, I don't. Sorry about that, Rusty. Like I only have set like you can't drop the f bomb or anything like that. That's it. Everything else is fair game. So I don't know what happened there. Um, um, but yeah, that was weird. that was weird. That was all right. It's like sorry, Streamlat. I, oh yeah, no worries. I don't know why it set that up because I took that off. That should have been fair game. But yeah, no worries, dude. You're good. That was just crazy. It's just like all of a sudden, just a poof, all these things just got deleted. I was like, whoa. I try to make it open as possible so that way you can just talk freely. I just don't want any f bombs or anything like that on here. But yeah, Empire, the Empire is listening. Yes, yes, they are. The Empire is definitely listening. Could have been the government or work. Yep, or they or the Play-Doh. I don't know. I would never drop the f bomb here, mate, or hate speech. I am not about that. No, I totally yeah. No worries, man. I'm not. You're good because I read everything you posted. Yeah, I don't think you said anything bad, but um, moving moving back to the show because that was weird. Um, so things pretty much if you wanna jump in here, just talk about like the things that you didn't like about the show, and then I'll jump back on and we can tell me what you didn't like about the show, Primo. What are the key things that you didn't like, or just everything in general? You just talk.
I think I think the story is a little well, we've known, only 2 episodes. I just have a problem with the show being made because they're teetering close to the original movies, and
Mm-hmm.
they're risking doing damaging the canon or retconning it or something like that. And that's one of the main things. I didn't like somebody in the chat there was pointing out the Leia was a little too much sometimes.
No,
What happened?
no. Just say like he was the one saying, I hate Leia.
Yeah. So yeah, Leia was a big problem, especially running, and the parkour scene in the episode 2 was just horrible. And I think the portrayal of the of the Inquisitors was a little lame. The I don't That scene didn't work for them and just didn't make them look menacing or anything. It just
Yeah.
didn't do any of them any favors. But yeah, I think that's the main thing is just the story and I think some of the actors just and the dialogue. I don't blame the actors. I just blame the writers. That just did horrible, just one note lines and stuff like that. And I think it really damaged the vibe of the show.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. Rusty says I have a problem with Star Wars being backwards backwards dumb. The sequence of Star Wars is dumb. Yep. I totally agree with you. It's what they're doing over there is just they have no sense of direction. Um, but so for me the biggest issue that I have with it like it's story structure and development and establishing. That's like my biggest pet peeves when you're trying to tell a story. You got to establish certain things, and I'll give you leeway. I'll give you like room to breathe before I start calling you out on like all these elements because it makes no sense to like they started the show with like a backstory, like establishing everything. Like a recap, and then they go after doing the recap they start when the temple is getting like destroyed and whatnot like that, getting attacked. Nothing that we haven't seen already, and then it cuts to Obi-Wan, what's going 10 years later, and it's Obi-Wan, and we're supposed to see him in the deserts and Tatooine. But it's the thing is it cuts to like the Inquisitors arriving in Tatooine searching for a Jedi that is supposedly there, and that's where I have a problem with the story development. It's like you have this vast universe, and you have this opportunity to establish these characters right, why not do it in another planet and showcase what they're capable of, and then bring them to Tatooine so that way, now they're Obi-Wan's problem. Because just so happens there isn't a Jedi there. You know, just develop things a little bit more organically as opposed to like Obi-Wan's here, this Jedi coincidentally is here, and now the Inquisitors are here because they've heard that this Jedi's here, and so they hunt him down and then they let him go. They let go the Inquisitor, and then we go into like Obi-Wan's story, his struggle, which is amazing, and it's just like they lose sight of what the in my opinion is like the main focus here, and it's a story about a destroyed Obi-Wan and his struggles dealing with the past and how he can amend that stuff, and how can he do better and do right by Luke, and how can he help him, not be what his father, you know became. um and so I feel like they totally missed that mark and missed that opportunity for Luke and Obi-Wan to start a relationship at such a young age, and yet they pivot and they go towards Leia. I don't mind Leia being there. I don't mind Leia existing in the same time frame or us seeing Leia. I thought it was fun and great to see her. But for her to have such pertinence in the story, it just it didn't make sense to me. Like towards the end of the first episode, Leia gets captured and she gets kidnapped. I'm spoiling it. I'm sorry, but like in the process of her getting kidnapped was just really dumb. Like this little 4 foot tall, let's say 3 foot tall little girl has the speed of Flash, and she's getting away from these adult, aliens who apparently can't jump over sticks, and they trip over themselves. It's no wonder that they're. How are they successful criminals? I will never know, because they triple over everything they see. But there's a message between like Obi-Wan and the father of Leia, and it's like, and he says that she's just as important. She is important. It's like, is she though? Is she? Like, I get it. She's later on, as time progresses, she's the catalyst for Luke to leave, and go rescue her, and thus the storyline. And it's kind of like a mirror image of what A New Hope is and this story is. That's also weak writing, um, but the focus is Luke. That's what the story's all about. It's about Luke, and you don't find out that they're siblings until like the third movie. So I feel like it's such a waste of time, and there's just this. I don't know. They're just trying to push this thing where like she's like this important figure, and she's gonna grow up to be like a very powerful woman, and like I'm cool with that. Like that's great, but the story is not even about her. She's just coincidentally happened to be there, and she's the princess, and she happens to be his twin, and that's about it. So I just that first episode
They're
was
in
just go ahead.
they're in Empire, and Obi-Wan is talking with Yoda, and Yoda says that Luke is too old and not good for it. And he says there's another.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, either of them was gonna be. Even Yoda wanted Leia more than Luke, because Luke was a little weakish in
Yeah.
certain parts.
I mean,
So she's important because she is the daughter of Vader too. Like the thing is that
yes.
the movie George Lucas focused on Luke instead of Leia,
Mm-hmm.
but Leia was important in that time, and even when the movies came out, because George Lucas flipped the concept of a princess. She's
Mm-hmm.
not the normal princess, you
Yeah.
know.
And I
So she's important in that, and even in the stories, uh, in the new books, she's very important figure in the galaxy, because you know, she's part of the rebellion and stuff like that.
and I totally understand that. I
And
100%
I
get that.
understand the show because, like we were talking last night. I think I would have preferred not have that chase sequence with her escaping in the woods.
Yeah.
Would have preferred her just the first episode only Obi-Wan, and then he get at the end of he gets because Obi-Wan is for Obi-Wan to leave the planet, the only reason is Leia.
Yeah.
They have two kids and they separated it because of something, because both of them are Anakin's kids. And I think they wanted to mesh a lot of stuff in the
Hmm.
first episode. I think I think the show should have been 80 episodes then, if you're gonna just let the story breathe a little bit and take the room. I
Yeah.
think the first episode should have been just Obi-Wan and his state over there in Tatooine, just us you introducing again Obi-Wan to a new audience
Yeah.
and everybody who's waiting for him. And I
Absolutely.
I think that scene and Alderaan was just it I think it's a failure of the how they're filming these shows on the volume and because both chase scenes and the both episodes were atrocious. So
Mm.
that's my
Yeah.
thing.
I agree. Like I understand her importance. I just feel like for this story, she's not that important. Like I feel like the focus should have been Luke because that's who ends up having a true relationship with Obi-Wan. And she talks about Obi-Wan like he's a war hero, like he's a legend because her father talked about that character or that person to an extent or like in length to Leia. So that's why she's like, you help my father and whatever, help us Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope kind of thing. So it's kind of like you get the sense that if you're ever in danger, reach out to Obi-Wan. If Obi-Wan's so great, Obi-Wan, and he always talked about Obi-Wan. But, you know, th- there's never been like a true connection between Obi-Wan and Leia. So I think
No.
that in that regard, I think they failed and they're just like you said the other night, you're retconning a lot of stuff. Um, but let me catch up real quick with Rusty here. Let me see. Just tell a good story, for from start to finish. Yeah, I agree. Um, he says, I agree, my friend. I have to watch many movies and stories. They progress a bit, and then uh digress back to history. Uh, I, s- I say they say think all the time. You have a good story to tell it from start to finish. Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I had never seen the part about Leia uh being Vader's daughter, but interesting thought for sure. You got a per- pervasive speaker on mate. Lots of good theories for sure. Yeah, no, I totally feel you. But I just feel like uh this 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 show just like Javi, like you talked about Obi-Wan and how we could have focused solely on Obi-Wan in the first episode. I totally agree with that. That should have been we should have introduced him. We should have gotten an experience of him, like what he's dealing with, his PTSD, his remorse, all that stuff, killing his best friend and everything, the monotonous of his day, what he deals with, what he struggles, and then like at the end of the episode, towards the end, it should have been the Inquisitor moment where what they established at the beginning, like the Inquisitors found this Jedi that when they hunted him, his last known origin was Tatooine, and so they just follow the trail back to Tatooine, and then he's like, "Oh crap, the Inquisitors!" Like they're on his tail and they're hunting him, and then
I think there should have been a better way of because only with Leia just missing, he would have left the planet, and maybe the Inquisitors were looking for Leia too because she was, kidnapped,
yeah,
and you can have in the second episode them clashing, you know,
yeah,
facing each other. It would have been a better tension wise for
yeah,
the show. Like,
that would have been interesting because the Inquisitors could have been hired by the Senate, right? And they to track down Leia, you know, and that those two characters they just clash. That would have been kind of interesting, but we still would have to get Obi-Wan out of the planet. Um,
Leia missing is the catalyst for him to go. Like,
yeah, yeah, but then why would the Inquisitors go and look for her? That's the thing. Like I think I
Oh,
feel
that the same thing. It's like the daughter of the one of the Senate should be a reason for the Inquisitors to be like,
true, but he has to tell them though. No one would know.
yeah. But I'm just saying that there should have
Yeah.
been a creative way to do their encounter because them on Tatooine with all that sunlight didn't look good.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I just think that they had an opportunity to tell stronger stories and develop it better. Like episode 2 was just so weak to try to get this character who's, yeah, it's been 10 years, but is he that naive now? Does his common sense not, like, does it not click? Because the first thing he does is like, I've been tracking this ship and I tracked it here to this planet, um, and yet I lost the
Lazy writing.
signal. Like really,
That
like, yeah,
that's lazy writing.
it is. It's very lazy writing. Like episode 2 was a showcase of ultimate lazy writing because you have a character that at the beginning he's like, "Oh, where am I? What are we? Here's my pertinent information." And then afterwards he starts to become like a detective and starts to be clever, and it's just like a contradiction after a contradiction. And then when he tries to like, we need we need to blend in. Let me take off my disguise and put on this hoodie, that everybody saw me wear when I came in here. I was like, dadgummit, man, like who writes this stuff? It's
I
it's
think I think for Disney, and I think for Lucasfilm, it's not about the story anymore. It's more about the fan service moments they can create and capture the internet and stuff like that. That's their measuring stick, and all those videos of Star Wars fans crying and because they saw a robot at the back end of a scene.
Yeah, so Rusty has a question. If the future already occurred, why are we surprised? Um I watched the first Star Wars movie. I was born in 1970. And that's Hobby was talking about that. To your point, like he was talking about how these movies, or not, this series just has no weight to it, because it's between this weird timeline where what's going to happen, where things are going to go. It's just kind of like this little fan fiction kind of thing where they're rewriting a little bit here and there, but it has no weight, like we all know what's going to happen kind of thing. So
That's 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 what I was talking. I'm in agreement with Rusty that there's no tension in the show because Obi-Wan's not gonna die in the show.
mhm.
Darth Vader's not gonna die in the show.
Yeah.
The Grand Inquisitor is not gonna die or Leia. So there's no danger. And when you have, I think Better Call Saul is a perfect example of that. How to do a prequel
Mhm.
because they have the same problems. Nothing's gonna happen to Jimmy, the Saul. Nothing's gonna happen to any of the all the characters that come from Breaking Bad. So you have to write introduce characters and make and through the episodes you have to care for those characters.
Yeah.
And the show doesn't have the space or the bandwidth to do it. It's just 6 episodes, and you want me to care for who?
Yeah.
Because I know Leia is gonna be alive until whatever timeline is, and Obi-Wan's gonna die in episode 4. So who's the character that I should care for?
Yeah.
'Cause Leia's I'm not gonna care for Leia. She's gonna survive. Ben is gonna survive.
Yeah.
Reva, you haven't written that character well or anything.
Yeah.
It's like it's a sin what you did to that kid, to those Inquisitors,
Yeah.
because those Inquisitors are super menacing, and none of them put the fear of anything on. So
There's no threat from the Inquisitors. All they yelled was like, "Move out of the way, move out of the way," and
couldn't get. Apparently, they can't run as fast as the
yeah,
other guy.
and that's another problem that I've had with these shows. Even in the Book of Boba, they introduced like this great bounty hunter from the animated series. And first off, you're Disney. You're multi-billion-dollar company. You got a lot of backing, and they couldn't get him quite right. Like he looks okay, and they're just like, this is how he would look if he's real, kind of thing. And I feel like you could commit and just make him look authentic, like the series. The same thing with the Grand Inquisitor. the guy's head is a little bit more elongated. And so I
But
just
don't everybody has an the skulls are elongated on Rebels and Clone Wars.
no,
I mean,
I
everybody
no,
like
I
even
don't think it is aesthetic choice. I think it's an actual like
I
like
think because you
alien.
look at Count Dooku in there and you're like, wow, that's something. That's
Yeah.
a choice.
No, I get it. I know people made that argument. Like they compared Count Dooku to the real one, and it's like, and then they did a Photoshop and showed Count Dooku's like nose and everything like that, like how it was in the animation. It's like, well, first off, it was established first as a live action, then the animation came in after. I just think they don't commit fully to these characters, and then what they do, they bring them in, and then they kill them off. It's like, hey, look, remember this guy from the show? Oh, he's dead. That sucks. Like it's and so and that was another thing. I have a problem with like the writing. I just don't understand like why they're like, we know what's gonna happen in the end and at the beginning, the middle, meh, 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 so they kind of like write backwards, and it's like, what happens here, what happens here, all to get to this final thought, and it's just so weak. It's really really weak. Too many coincidences with characters parkouring on the rooftops for hours to finally land to a very important character to get information that is very important so that way you could get there. It's really bad. Um, and then knowing the information of Darth Vader, um, nobody knows that except for Thrawn and that general. Is it General Tarkov? General Tark? No, I don't know.
Emerald Tarkin.
Tarpon. Yeah, it's only those two people outside of the emperor. So for this character to know, obviously we're gonna figure that out later, and it's gonna be a reveal that, oh, she knew Luke or she saw him, not Luke but Anakin. And I think that this character is just gonna be that. I think she's just like simple. I don't think there's any depth to this character whatsoever. I think people who are creating a theory behind her, I think they're going to be surprised because I don't think there's going to be much depth to her. Because there hasn't been up to this point. It's just like, I want what's owed to me. Like, okay, all right. So, but yeah, I just these first two episodes did not impress me at all. I think I think as far what Hobby said, as far as Disney shows go, I don't think I think the first three episodes of Mandalorian were good, of season one. I think those were really fun, like visually. I think those were stunning. After that, everything else is just kind of meh, including this show. So I can't say this like the best out of the Disney Star Wars series because there's not much to compare it to. Like they all haven't been good. Like Book of Boba was not great. Mandalorian season two was not good. So it's just, yeah, it's just mediocrity. That's all it is, and it's just not. It hasn't been. It hasn't been a good experience, man. It has not
Like
been.
I say, is they're just catering to these fan reactions. That's their measuring stick now. It's not ratings or or anything like that. It's how many hashtags and videos of reactions people have, and how many of them are crying and stuff like that. And you know,
Yeah. Rusty says each to their own, and I agree. Like at the end of the day, that's a really good point. Like if you enjoy it, if you like it, if you're happy with it,
yes,
that 100% more power to you. These are just my opinions. I hold these people at a higher standard. Like I want them to be accountable for this. Because if we just keep accepting what they throw at us, then that's all we're gonna get. It's just like this mediocre kind of content, and the stories are just gonna get worse and worse, and we're just gonna be like, oh, that's great. Look, Luke Skywalker appeared for like the 100,000th time, kind of thing. Like it's we're just gonna keep getting this stuff, and if we don't speak up and speak out against like this poor writing and poor development, then we're never gonna get good content. And so we'll have this war where people like me who keeps calling them out, they'll be like, oh, you're just a toxic fan, and in reality, I just like I hold them up to a higher standard. Like I want you guys to do better. Like I don't go into these shows wanting it to fail. Like I want them to succeed, but the track record of Disney Star Wars up to this point has just been just an atrocious execution of the content. It's just been horrible. The only good thing that's come out of Disney Star Wars, the only good thing, and it was just almost like a fluke, was Rogue One. Everything else that's come out after that or around it, it's just been really bad. Solo is a meh. It's kind of close, but they still destroy the character in that movie. Um, Rogue One was just a fantastic film. It was just so good, and that was riddled with conflict and issues internally inside the development and the screenwriters room, the script, the directors, everything. But man, they pulled something magical out of that, out of all that chaos, and it was fantastic. I really loved it. Everything else that Disney Star Wars has done has just been an abomination, and I feel bad for George because it's something that he created from his own heart, from his mind, and I feel bad that he was taunted and abused by the fans to get him to a point where he felt like he needed to sell it before he could tell his true vision of the Skywalker saga. Um, but it is what it is. So it's unfortunate, but I want them to do good. I want them to succeed. I want them to do great content. But I think under their current leadership and how things are going, it's not going to happen for a really long time. And I think we're just going to keep getting a mediocre Star Wars for a really really long time. Let me see. Say what you will, but I'm I'm apolitical. Ooh, say before that. I mean that's so far. Like I'm leading in over here because my chat's so small over there. Uh, I don't watch chat to be political, but I do not have the money to do what I could in 2 years. Okay, I feels. So how do you think Avatar 2 will be? Um, I think Avatar 2 is going to be well before I jump into that, Primo, do you have any final thoughts on the Obi-Wan and Star Wars and all that jazz?
I think I I think there's a divide on especially me. I think Star Wars is not for me anymore,
Mm,
and I'm fine with it. I'm just watching other people create. Yeah, there's other sci-fi shows that are way better than what they're producing. So it's not for me. I don't blame or critique anybody who likes it. I mean, more power, like you said, more power to you.
yeah.
If you enjoy something you're passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
sure. But you know, I really loved the Star Wars was part of my childhood, and
Mm-hmm.
it's for me. It's like you're not. I don't know. It's just when it fell into Disney. Disney has like a ratio of like how dark they will go and stuff like that. Because I was reading that this show, the first scripts was very dark, and they had to rewrite all the whole show again. Um, so I think I don't know. I think it's they're catering for another audience, and I'm
Yeah.
fine with it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Yeah, I love Star Wars. It's despite all that I've said, I've enjoyed it. Growing up, I really liked it. The prequels were fun. Those were I grew up with those, but I grew up watching the original ones. Like the prequels came out when I was a kid, but I knew of the original Star Wars movies. I used to binge watch them with my dad like every other weekend because that's how much he loved them. I have we have collections of the Star Wars movies, all the VHS, the full screen, the widescreen versions of the DVDs, the box sets and stuff like that. So yeah, we got anything Star Wars. We were all about. So it just hurts to see something that is so well um, that was just a space opera essentially turned into mediocrity. So that's just my thing. But one day I'm sure that it'll get back there. Um, so to answer Elena's question, I think Avatar 2, watching the trailer and seeing the direction that they're going, I'm excited for the technical advancements of the movie. I don't know what that moved me of the movie. Because he years ago he said he was going to make it and how he's going to approach it and stuff like that. I wonder if it's going to be 60 frames per second as opposed to and in 3D as opposed to the 24 frames per second, which I think 60 frames per second is the sweet spot for 3D movies because you don't get that nauseating feeling. 48 frames per second was kind of close, but the 60 frames, you see more movement in between, and so when you see things in 3D, it just things will pop and it'll just be more fluid, and you won't feel sick. Especially with 24 frames per second at 3D, just it's just a bad experience. I would not recommend it to anybody. Um, so I'm excited to see that. Hopefully, it's 60 frames per second. The digital capturing and everything of the movie, I think that's just it's astonishing. I think the advancement of that has been great. The story though, I'm intrigued to see because some of the characters or the village that they're visiting now in this story, they were showcased in the first movie. Different tribes came together. So I think the the conflict here is that they're trying to find refuge or they're like migrating, you know, trying to find another tribe and everything like that. And I think they adopted like a live kid to raise, and so it's the kid's struggle dealing with that and everything like that. And um, so I think it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be fun. I think everybody's gonna learn why James Cameron has the highest grossing movie of all time, and because it's he's gonna do it again with this. Uh, so that's what I think. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be a great ride. I think it's something that you're gonna want to watch in IMAX. Um, so yeah, to say that I've been hype about it, it's not a true statement. I've been more interested in the technology in the filming of it, you know. So and the execution. The first one's story was okay. It was like pretty much Pocahontas for the most part. Um, this one might be Little Mermaid, you know, because everything's in the water. So I don't know, but I'm really curious about that technical advancement in cinema and how they capture all these actors and the expressions, the micro expressions, things like that. I'm really looking forward to that. All technical story, I might give it a pass because I'm like, oh wow, visuals. But the technicality of it, that's what excites me the most of this movie. Primo, your thoughts on that?
Uh, I don't know. I felt like okay because it's been so long since the
Yeah.
first one came out. Like, but once I see more trailers, the movie comes out, and I'll probably get more hyped about it. I really, I saw that movie like 3 times with different people, the in 3D.
Mm.
Like, I got tired of the movie, man. Just the third time was like, oh my god, this is a slog.
Yeah.
So, but I admire James Cameron and his pursuit of technology and
Yeah.
filmmaking and all that stuff. So, yeah, I'll probably watch it. I'll watch it. So, it's all good.
Yeah.
I still think it's so far away. It's coming in Christmas. So,
Yeah. It's right down the road. It's December 16th, I think. December.
yeah, like the original one, I think.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna be a huge success. Naomi says I could never get into Star Wars. Yeah, it's not for everybody. That's almost blasphemy. But that's okay. I mean, given the circumstances, I give you a pass. I like Elena says I like Star Wars too, but I'm more of a Trekkie. All right. Live long and prosper. All right.
What's your favorite Star Trek show or movie or
That's a really good
because
question.
I've been trying to get to the I want to watch the next generation because I watched a couple episodes when I was a kid, so but I haven't dig into the the deep into the Star Trek, so
Mm-hmm.
I need a guide to see which episodes to watch and not watch.
Yeah.
This is a pretty long show, so
Yeah, no, I used to watch Deep Space Nine when I was a kid.
okay.
I loved watching that. But yeah, Lena, let us know what's your favorite Star Trek show and or movie. She Elena says that I'm excited to see where they go with it and the technology advancements since the first one. And you're talking about Avatar, right? Or maybe you could be talking about the Star Trek shows because there have been
Talking about
advancements.
the first one, she said.
Yeah, yeah. So. It's Avatar. But who knows? She's probably talking about like the first one, the very first series. So I don't want to sit here and assume, you know, like she's talking about. Yeah. Let me see. Anyone watch Adam's Family too? No, I haven't. I haven't seen it. Is that on streaming service? Because I've seen the first one, the animated one. I've seen the first one. We just noticed it came out in 2021, and we had no idea. We've we've got to watch it tonight. Yeah, no, I definitely I'd love to watch it. I really enjoyed the first one, the animated one. I like the next generation, but I couldn't get into Deep Space Nine, and of course the original one from like the 60s, 70s. Yeah, no, the original one was really fun. Deep Space Nine was just something. It's something I used to watch before going to bed because they would show it on Nova.
It has a lot of fan base. Apparently, it gets really good, the show on the later seasons.
Yeah, yeah, it was fun. Um, there was another one that I used to watch. Um,
Enterprise.
Enterprise. I think that's the one. The guy who,
It's well in the past, like the first, like you know,
yeah,
when they started coming out.
yeah. Let me see. Crónicas the comic says Star Trek 1, 2, 3, 5, Next Generation. What is that for? Deep Space Nine, Star Trek, First Contact is great. Yeah. It's is that the is First
My
Contact?
favorite is the second movie, The Wrath of Khan, is
Oh, yeah.
one of the best movie ever. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That first Star Trek movie was tough. Tough to
yeah.
watch. That's just a
And
long-winded episode.
they poured a lot of money into it.
Man, that was a rough movie. But that second one was fuego. Um, I was talking about Avatar in the in the previous comment. Yeah, I figured. Um, you know what does that say? I akabobo akabo akabab
Kebab. I
ikabab
think it's
ikabab thing. I'm like akabobo.
trying to read it in Spanish.
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, I translated it. Ikabobo que estoy. Ichabod, the tree from the first one. The Whomping Willow kind of tree from the first Adams Family movie. The Wrath of Khan. Yes, the movies are good. Yeah, yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, you what I meant. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know what to say to that, but I'm glad Javi understood you. Glad he understood you. But I don't what happened to that tree? Did it get cut down? Is that a spoiler for the second movie? Did I just spoil the second movie? Oh dang. Oh no. Star Trek 2, 3, and 4 is a trilogy inside the Star Trek movies is one single story. Is that are those facts? Are you talking about like
Questioning Crónica?
no,
Are you questioning
I'm just
Crónica
saying
too? Like,
is that a fact? Is that what it's like he's talking about it's like all cohesive like one cohesive storyline? It's like what
he
about
knows a lot. He knows a lot about Friday the 13th too. He's an expert in it.
oh yeah, well it's a
So,
good thing that we're not talking about those movies because that would just be a really short show.
oh,
I chose violence today. No. I named our tree in front in our front yard Ichabod. It's a weird shape. My dad wants me to cut it down, but I can't. I love it.
protect the tree, it's
Prote-
Elena.
yeah,
Protect Ichabod.
protect it. I bet you hang things from it, don't you? Like skeletons during Halloween. The headless horseman. Man, that was
No,
such a
that's
good.
creepy. That's
Yeah.
creepy now.
I'm just saying, like for Halloween, if it's called Ichabod, then it's like the headless horseman. You know, Ichabod Crane from the Headless Horseman storyline. Um,
Maybe Naomi knows magic and witchcraft.
that's probably true. I don't know. I would,
Okay, then I will protect Ichabod.
yeah, I don't, but it's already creepy. Like, oh man. Um, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. We're at that point. I want to thank you guys for hanging out, tuning in, being here with us. I know we were in a hiatus for quite a bit, but yeah, we're just gonna keep on keeping on, keep trucking along, watching shows and stuff like that. Let us know in the comments what you guys are watching, what you guys want to watch. Join the Discord so we could chat some more about shows and things like that, and give us suggestions on movies to watch. And what you guys want us to talk about.
Yeah, Rabu was already watching Bridgerton.
Yeah, I'm
He
watching.
fell in the trap.
I fell in the trap. I'm watching Bridgerton.
Now he's trying to lure me in.
Bridgerton. The Monday thing I like. Oh, that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad you like the new time frame. Love this. Keep it going. Oh, that's fantastic. I appreciate it, Elena. Naomi, thank you. Javi watch Bridgerton. Yeah, we'll get him. We'll get him, Naomi. We'll get him to watch it. But yeah, please let us know what you guys are watching, and it could be anything. We could talk about anything in the show. We can expand it to not only just things that we're watching, but we could also talk about video games and stuff like that. Because it is something that is on our screen, and we can dive into that. And maybe one of these upcoming shows we could just completely dive into video games. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Thank you for the love and support. Uh, and like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell the world. Uh, and yeah, Primo, you got any final thoughts, concerns, queries, things?
Good evening to everybody, and thanks for the support, especially Naomi and Elena. Veronica was there too, and
Yeah.
Rusty, and everybody. So thanks you, thanks. We have to do an episode of Friday 13 and invite Veronica.
Yeah. No, we'll totally do that. We'll totally do that.
He's gonna defend Friday the 13 as art films, and you're just gonna try to trash it.
Yeah, no, we could totally do that. Chronicas, we'll have you on. It'll be a blast to have you on. We could talk about that. Talk about a couple movies. I can
Oh,
get with that.
Elena likes Friday the 13th too, huh?
Yeah, it seems like they do. It seems like they do. I've only seen like the first one. I like the Halloween though. I like the new Halloween movies that came out. Like the first that remake that just came out, or the continuation. There's a sequel that I still haven't seen. I'm down to
I don't know.
I'm down to talk about
I
those.
know Tony got to treat those films as art, like you know.
Yeah, we could talk about like Evil Dead and Friday the
Oh,
Friday.
you just.
You have to see them all. Ah, man, I don't know if I could sit here and watch all
Oh,
those
Ellie,
movies.
now they're restored in 4K and HDR. All their glory. They cleaned up the print.
Oh my God. I could probably stomach the first one, but it's just they get campy and you're just by the time you get to like Jason X, it's like you basically
I never
camping.
seen those. I think I stopped in Jason in Manhattan when he started uppercutting people and just
Finish him.
yeah. Talk about that's one of the. I think Jason is faster than Sonic and Flash because he's just
Yeah. People running for miles, top speed. And they turn a corner, there he is. It's like, what? He
yeah,
has it.
especially in 8. That I think it's the Manhattan one. The guy is running on the rooftop of some buildings.
Oh,
Talk about parkour. Jason is just killing it there. So
oh my goodness. Uh, Jason Goes to Manhattan is one of the best movies of all time.
I think it's in the old Congress archives.
Congressional Archives of Cinema. He's a he's a magician. Oh my goodness, he's magical, all right. He has some form of abilities, and that's the thing. Like, I think as time progressed, they altered his abilities and everything like that, and um, I don't know, but I think Chronicas he explained it one time, and I was just like, oh, okay, that been kind of interesting, but still, like, ah,
Yeah, I heard that explanation a number of times. Believe me.
oh goodness. But all right, y'all. Much love. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in, for hanging out, for the laughs. Thank you for participating. God bless you guys. Stay safe, and We'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out.